Good morning, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It means it's a brand new opportunity. We did something amazing, and it all begins today. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Monday, with a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with recording artist Vivian Green discussing her extraordinary career. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy our broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In international news, North Korea fires 2 ballistic missiles capable of reaching Japan. North Korea test-fired a pair of ballistic missiles with the potential range of striking Japan on Sunday in a possible protest of Tokyo's adoption of a new security strategy to push for more offensive footing against North Korea and China. The launches came 2 days after the North claimed to have performed a key test needed to build a more mobile, powerful intercontinental ballistic missile designed to strike the U.S. mainland. The 2 missiles traveled from the country's northwest about 310 miles at a maximum altitude of 340 miles before landing in the waters between the Korean peninsula and Japan, according to the South Korean and Japanese governments. South Korea's military described both missiles as medium-range weapons that were launched at a steep angle, suggesting they could have traveled further if they were fired at a standard trajectory. North Korea usually tests medium and longer-range missiles at a high angle to avoid neighboring countries, though it fired an intermediate-range missile over Japan in October, forcing Tokyo to issue evacuation alerts and halt trains. In an emergency meeting, top South Korean security officials deplored North Korea's continued provocations that they said came despite the plight of its citizens moaning in hunger and cold due to serious food shortage. They said South Korea will boost a trilateral security cooperation with the U.S. and Japan, according to South Korea's presidential office. The Japanese vice defense minister separately criticized North Korea for threatening the safety of Japan, the region, and the international community. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command said the launches highlight the destabilizing impact of North Korea's unlawful weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs. It said the U.S. commitments to the defense of South Korea and Japan remain ironclad. In national news, LA taps hotel rooms as estimated 40,000 people live homeless. The new mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, said Sunday her administration will start moving homeless people from tent encampments into hotels and motels through a new program that launches on Tuesday. Bass told NBC's Meet the Press host Chuck Todd that her plan to move homeless people into rooms immediately will not address everybody, but it is going to address, hopefully, a significant number. She said people would not be forced to move, but that sanitation crews will stand by to clean up areas after people have left. But this is not coercing people. This is not ticketing people or incarcerating people. This is moving people from tents to hotels or motels, she said. On her first day as mayor of Los Angeles, Bass declared a state of emergency on homelessness. She vowed to get people housed and more housing built so that residents can see a real difference, which hasn't been visible despite billions spent on programs to curb homelessness, including $1.2 billion in the current city budget. In more national news, Texas mayor declares state of emergency over migrant swell. The mayor of a Texas border city declared a state of emergency Saturday over concerns about the community's ability to handle anticipated influx of migrants across the southern border. The El Paso mayor issued the state of emergency declaration to allow the city on the U.S. border with Mexico to tap into additional resources that are expected to become necessary after Title 42 expulsions end on December 21st, the El Paso Times reported. The mayor had previously resisted issuing an emergency declaration, but said he was moved to action by the sight of people on downtown streets with temperatures dipping below freezing, the Times reported. That's not the way we want to treat people, the mayor said during a news conference on Saturday evening. In business news, Wall Street loses ground, marking 2 straight weekly losses. Wall Street racked up more losses on Friday as worries mounted that the Federal Reserve and other central banks are willing to bring on a recession if that's what it takes to crush inflation. The S&P 500 fell 1.1%, its third straight drop. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 0.8%, and the Nasdaq Composite lost 1%. The major indexes marked their second straight weekly loss. The pullback was broad. More than 80% of the stocks in the benchmark S&P 500 fell on Friday. Technology and healthcare stocks were among the biggest weights on the market. Microsoft fell 1.7%, and Pfizer slid 4.1%. And finally, in entertainment news, Avatar 2 makes wave with $134 million domestic debut. Avatar: The Way of the Water didn't make quite as big a splash as many assumed it would, but James Cameron's big-budget spectacle still helped breathe life into the box office this weekend. The sequel earned $134 million for North American theaters and $300 million internationally for a $435 million global debut, according to studio estimates on Sunday. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. It's easy to focus on what you don't have, but it takes real gratitude to be thankful for the blessings right in front of you. You have been given the gift of life, along with the knowledge that you were created for a purpose larger than any man could ever imagine. With that reminder, never doubt your ability to have an impact on the world around you. You were born with that ability in your DNA. Today, embrace it. Have an amazing Monday. We are part of my conversation coming up with the one and only Vivian Green in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Recording artist Vivian Green stopped by Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her extraordinary career. Here's a bit of our conversation. Vivian, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I'm here based in Mississippi on the radio, and I tell you, you have a lot of fans here in the South, as you know. But, when I say that, when I say it's been 20 years, when we were first introduced to you, how does that feel to be able to kind of reflect on these 2 decades and what you've been able to do?
It's weird, honestly. It's like, where does the time go, because it doesn't feel like that number. You
right.
Think about the numbers. I don't feel that it's been that long. So it's really weird. But I think if anything, I'm proud of myself that I've had staying power and that I've never had to do anything else in the 20 years. So I'm really grateful for that because, the music business is a very interesting place.
Right. Right.
And, you have hills and valleys, and I think everyone does it at any level. You have that in this industry. So I'm just so grateful that I've, always been able to put out music. I've always been able to have my music distributed. And I've always had people who wanted to support me in doing that. And I've had some really faithful fans over the years. So I'm just really grateful for it, honestly.
Could you have imagined, though, when you first began, that you would be able to have that type of connection pretty much, with all aspects of life and listeners?
I think any artist would like to or aspire to have, connections with people based on, especially if you're a singer-songwriter, because the point is to touch people, and to hope that they feel what you feel or can relate to it. So, that's just another thing, like you said, to be grateful for. And, I've never wanted to be put into a box. I've definitely fought against it. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. But better get on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and, of course, your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, remember Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a real one.